Hey everyone! Welcome to another episode of Renton Reflex. While doing my research on this movie, I found out that it was originally going to be titled The Real World, but that would have conflicted with the television series of the same name. I'll admit that the new title it eventually went with did catch my attention. But was it enough to justify the investment in its entertainment value? Well, first, allow me to tell you what happens in the story. A single mother goes on a trip to Australia for 2 months out of the summer, but not without leaving an elderly babysitter to watch her 5 kids during that time. And, spoiler alert, the babysitter dies of natural causes roughly 10 minutes into the film. Instead of telling the police or their mother about it, the kids decide to drop the body off at the mortuary. They soon come to find that they don't have enough money to live off of, so the eldest sister of the family, named Sue Ellen, who also goes by the nickname Swell, tries to get a job. Through certain circumstances, she ends up getting one as an executive administrative assistant at a fashion company, despite the company not doing a background check on her first. Things do start to get out of hand, not only with the other kids taking advantage of the money Sue Ellen brings in, but a couple of employees at the fashion company start to become suspicious of her and do some investigating. Comedic hijinks and misunderstandings ensue. There isn't much for me to say about this movie, other than how unrealistic the premise itself is. It did try to include conflicts of interest and give each character a sense of purpose, but the way the plot meandered along ultimately resulted in the kind of movie that averaged out to be, well, a bit average. There were a few comedic bits I actually did get a laugh out of, but I do question a few of the adult jokes that were thrown in there, which does raise the question, who was this movie's intended audience? Was it for kids, teenagers, adults, all three? Who really knows? I can see why this movie was originally titled The Real World, because a lot of the focus is on Sue Ellen getting a taste of adulthood by taking on the role of a career woman and a mother at a young age. But even with the new title change in hopes of marketing the movie better, it wasn't exactly enough to justify the investment in its entertainment value, because the way it stretched itself out really made it feel padded out, thus weighing down the viewing experience. If it had much tighter storytelling, that would have made the movie more effective. For a movie with an unusual title and an unusual premise, this is one dark comedy that is more than likely to provide a mixed experience to its audiences rather than have them see it as outrageously funny. On a scale between 1 and 10, I give this film a 5. And that concludes my review. Thanks for watching. And remember, don't tell Mom the babysitter's dead. I'm just kidding. See you later.